Hey guys, welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith. Okay, so over the weekend, I took Alexis to go see Stevie Nicks, which just, I'm so grateful that I have a daughter that appreciates, good music. Um, and we had so much fun. And oh my God, like Stevie Nicks, I wasn't sure what to expect because I have seen artists where, as they get older, maybe like their voice starts to go or it's just not the same. But oh my God, like she still has it. Her voice was so good. Everything was just amazing. And the energy, there's something about that. Like I feel like I'm always drawn to music from, like the 60s, the 70s. And I always say like I was born in the wrong decade. But I really think there's something vibrationally to it. It's like real people with real instruments that spend years together and collaborate and come up with these songs and play in harmony together. It's just different, in my opinion, than a lot of the stuff you hear now that has, 200 different producers working on it and not real instruments. Everything's like digital now. I don't know. I just think it has a completely different energy to it. And so anyhow, we saw it and it was so good. It was so phenomenal. And the whole time we were there, I was just like, man, like Stevie Nicks gets it. Like she gets it. She gets manifestation and energy and all of it. And I know like she doesn't probably really use that terminology, but she gets the idea. She was talking about this stuff way before any of us knew what it was. And so one of the things she said, which I loved how she was just like giving all these little tidbits in between songs, but she was talking about the woman, Jamie Balin, I think was her name, that opened up for her and how, she's like, I always want to support the next generation of women in rock. And she said, I keep telling Jamie this, but really, I want to tell all of you this because it's true for every single one of you. She's like, it's already there. All you have to do is reach out and take it. She said, I tell her this all the time. It already is there for you. You just have to reach out and take it. And I was like, just like, this is manifestation, right? It's quantum physics. It's like everything already exists. Every possibility for your entire life already is there. You just have to choose it. And that's the point that I want to make with all of this is like, you have to choose it. So you have to make a decision. And that sounds so easy, but 99.9% of the time, we don't do that. We're operating on autopilot, on default. We get in our routines and we buy into this lie that was taught to us throughout our entire society that we should just settle for a life that we don't necessarily even want. And we don't really question it. It's just our subconscious is running the show and just kind of goes along with it. And it's like life is happening to us. And that is not true. Like all you have to do is decide that you want something different. And so when you get to that point where you realize you want something different, what ends up happening most of the time is you immediately, as soon as you have the thought or the vision, is you say, that's not possible for me. Or it's not a good time, or I'm not enough in some way. and you sabotage it before you can even ask for it. And so I loved what she said because it really is that simple. It's like it is possible, and all you have to do is reach out and take it. When I was growing up, I remember my dad would always tell me something that his grandmother always told him. And it was the whole idea of whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve. Like I think that's the way he worded it. And he would say, if someone else has done something, then that means you know for a fact that it's possible. And so if it's a possible for one person, it's possible for every person. And so it's possible. You just have to decide that that's what you want. And he was talking about it in terms of like becoming a doctor or something like I think that's kind of what he wanted me to do. But it's so true. And Bruce Lipton talks about this a lot too, where in order to achieve it, in order to manifest it, you have to, number one, give your subconscious, the quantum field, a vision. And in order to give a solid vision of what you want, you have to decide that you want it. And our minds are so like back and forth and wishy-washy. One minute we want one thing, and then the next minute we want something else. And then our goal scares us because it's out of our comfort zone. And so we immediately put it out of our mind or just say, well, that's not possible. And so you're literally like giving direction to your subconscious, to the universe, to the quantum field, however you want to look at it. You're giving it instructions that this is not possible for me. And so it really is about like deciding, making that bold decision that this is what I want for my life. And so you have to have this clear vision that represents the life that you want. Okay. And so this is the other part that I want to talk about with Stevie Nicks. So as we were waiting for her to come out or whatever, I was looking on her Instagram, and she had posted a letter that she wrote 50 years ago back home to her parents. And this was before she was famous. It was when they were recording like their very first album. And she was saying how she was spending 14 hours a day in the recording studio, and how like, but that's okay because I know it's going to pay off. And I am going to be sitting in my Beverly Hills mansion in the backyard overlooking my pool. And she painted this whole vision, this like detailed vision of her Beverly Hills home and the view, and her like sitting there at her pool looking at this view. And it got me thinking, you know, that's really like, that's really what you need to do is paint a picture, which isn't always easy to do. But I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it that has worked multiple times now. So when I will go with like, when I learned about manifestation, I was still pretty new to it, right? And we lived in Illinois. I've never liked the cold weather. I would get seasonal depression, and just the whole like 9 to 5 grind, and like feeling like I was just constantly working and just looking forward to the vacation, like the one vacation I would take every year around February or March, because I knew if I didn't, I would lose my mind. Like we would go somewhere warm, just at that time when it was so gloomy and gray. And that was really when I started thinking, I want to manifest a life I don't need a vacation from. Like I don't want to only enjoy it this one week when we go away, or on Saturday, because Sunday I'd be stressing out about Monday. I'm like, I don't want to live just for these like few moments of fun and freedom. I want every day to feel that way. And that's when I really started painting the picture of my overall life, lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I started a Pinterest vision board and it was called My Beach Retreat. And I basically put a bunch of like tons and tons and tons of images that I found on Pinterest for like my dream home in Florida. And the thing is, it really wasn't about the home, like the actual house. Like, yes, I wanted that and I manifested it, by the way, but it really wasn't about that. It was what the home represented. And what that vision represented was a lifestyle of enjoying every single day, living every single day like it's a vacation. And so there were lots of pictures of like palm trees and having green plants and flowers year round and the sunshine out year round and people just feeling happy and smiling and not just living to work, but working so that they can live and they can enjoy life. And like that's what it represented. It was kind of like a slice of paradise, like freedom from this hustle and grind that had been pretty much my whole life through that point, through school and through my day job. That's what it represented. And so when I would think about what I wanted, though that house and all the pictures that represented that house, my dream home, they represented like a whole new life, a whole upgrade. And more importantly, feelings. When I looked at that, I felt like just so aligned and like so joyful and so grateful and so relaxed and completely different from everything I was feeling in reality, in my real life. And so that's the kind of detail that I recommend that you have is like you don't have to think about just a bunch of different things and have everything planned out. I think that's a misconception when we talk about visualization, that you have to have everything figured out in your life and like visualize that. Pick one thing, just one thing that represents the overall feeling that you want your life to have. Whether that's like mine was like vacation, which represented like freedom and being happy and, just like living and feeling alive and enjoying the moment. But it could be anything. And it doesn't have to be a house, it could be anything. Just have something that represents that vision. So for Stevie Nicks, it was like that was the vision she held, was her Beverly Hills home sitting in the backyard overlooking the pool. That to her meant I made it. All the hard work paid off, and this is the end game. For me, it was this house in Florida. For you, it could be, again, it doesn't have to be a house or a place. It could be anything. It could be, you're holding your newborn baby, you're with your future spouse. Like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It could even be something so silly. Like, one of the things throughout the years that was my vision was a Louis Vuitton bag. And I like, it's so funny because now I could care less about having a Louis Vuitton bag. I have like a $30 little like bag that I wear, but at the time, that bag represented like a certain income threshold that I, reached. So it could be anything, but just think about what that is and hold that vision. And that will really help you make the decision of what you want. When you can actually paint a picture of what it would look like, it becomes less scary and more exciting. And it helps you tap into all of the feelings of what it would feel like to already have that. Because when you can start aligning your feelings and your emotions to it, you start to align your vibration to it. And that's when the craziest things start happening. Like you start meeting other people that are moving there or have moved there. Opportunities start coming up, like all sorts of doors will start opening left and right when you start painting that picture. Okay, and it all ties back to quantum physics. So in Quantum Catalyst, which is going to be opening, we're starting up in January, we talk about the double slit experiment and the observer effect. And basically, the gist of all of this is they've done this study multiple times where they're able to look and measure quantum particles, photons, the smallest particles that make up everything that we see in our physical reality. They're just like little tiny light particles, little bits of energy. And the craziest thing that still, perplexes scientists to this day is that there's this thing that happens where these quantum particles are in what's called superposition, meaning they don't really exist in a definitive state. It's like every single possibility, it exists like simultaneously in every single possibility. And it's when you observe it, when you look at the particle and observe it, that it collapses into a definitive state based on you, the observer. So, like, literally, your reality is based on your perception. That's how it's explained. It's wild through, this is why we have quantum physics, because no, it doesn't make sense according to the laws of physics that we had thought we knew. So, anyhow, if you observe something, you are collapsing it into the physical reality that you see. So, you're like creating your reality as you observe it. So, what's another way to observe something is to visualize it. You can observe it in your mind's eye. And that's the power of visualization. You're giving the photons direction, you're giving the quantum field a blueprint so that it can collapse the particles into what you want to see. But it's not just observing it. Like John Wheeler came along decades later and said, it's so much more than that. It's like us, how we're feeling, our energetic vibration, our expectations, our fears, our beliefs, all of that that plays into it. And so if you can keep visualizing this and feed it all those feelings of what it would feel like to already have it, you're like imprinting it on the quantum field so that it can take form in physical reality. So that's the power of it. So I would say moving into the new year, because this time of year, we want to set a ton of goals. And that's fine. But what I would suggest is rather than making a whole list of different things, really try to get clear on your vision of your overall life, the lifestyle you want to live. What does that feel like? And what is one thing that kind of represents that you can go back to and visualize to help you get in that frequency? So again, for me, it was my dream home in Florida. For Stevie Nicks, it was her dream home in Beverly Hills. What's your one thing? And it takes off a lot of pressure and stress because instead of thinking, I have to have goals for every single area of my life, and it can feel very overwhelming, all you have to do is focus on that one vision. And that one vision kind of takes care of everything. It upgrades your entire life. So, what's that thing? And what can you visualize that's going to represent that? Okay, so that's your homework for this podcast episode. But it really is powerful. If you can do that, I'm telling you, your whole life will change very quickly. Very quickly, you'll start seeing things left and right that align with that push you onto that path. If you're interested in this kind of thing, I did a quantum boot camp that's totally free. But what it is, it's basically for 5 days, I am giving you the foundation of quantum manifestation. So I get into the physics, the quantum physics behind how manifestation works, how we create our reality. And I look at it as kind of like a prerequisite for Quantum Catalyst because it gives you a good basis for what we're going to do over the 6 month program. But it's a good way to feel it out. Like, do I like this? Do I resonate with the way that, you know, I'm teaching it? All of that. It gives you it's like a preview to Quantum Catalyst. I would recommend doing that. It's a fun time of the year to do that. It's totally free, but it's going to explain this in so much more detail so you can really understand how important your thoughts and what's going on in your head is in shaping your reality. I had a girl reach out. I know she listens to the podcast, so if she's listening, please reach out again because I can't find your message. I went back, I'm trying to find your message, and I've got too many messages and it got lost in the shuffle. So please reach out again. But she was saying that her and her husband went through this. They were listening to the quantum manifestation audios, and she said this is what really got her husband interested in understanding manifestation because it really gives you a lot of science, a lot of evidence for why this absolutely works. And from there, as soon as they had the belief, like, okay, this makes sense from a scientific standpoint, it was like all the doubt and everything went away, and they were able to manifest so many things in a very short amount of time. So it's very powerful because it really does help to bypass all of the doubt and the uncertainty. And that was my overall goal when I created Quantum Catalyst. I wanted to give your subconscious so much hard proof and evidence that science or that manifestation works and science proves it, that it would virtually erase any doubt and uncertainty that you have. So that's the goal of it. And when you can do that, you quantum shift that. And what that means is like your whole life. It's not like manifesting just one thing, like, okay, I got the job, or I got the partner, or I got the new handbag. It's like your whole life shifts to this new level, every aspect of it. It's like an energetic upgrade. That's what is possible when you remove all of the doubt and the beliefs and the fear that's constantly running around in your head. So if you want to do the free 5-day quantum boot camp, go to lawofattractiontribe.com. You'll see the button right there on the homepage. Click on that. This will get you on the list so that when the doors open for Quantum Catalyst, you are the first to hear about it and you can join. So again, it's like a 6-month program. It's the only way to have access to me. So if you've thought about like, oh, I wonder if Stephanie does coaching or a mastermind or group coaching, this is it. This for 6 months, you have access to me on live calls. Like it's not me talking on like a Facebook Live. It's like Zoom. Like we are talking. You can ask me questions. I can give you feedback, that kind of thing. You can email me, and you get the entire program. It's a very in-depth program. We go over so much that I had to put it out for 6 months because it's just so much to process. So very in-depth program. If you're ready for like a total transformation, completely shift your paradigm, that's it. So if you're interested in that, go to lawofattractiontribe.com, do the quantum boot camp because that'll give you a really good idea of what's in store for the next 6 months. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. The best way is on Instagram at Law of Attraction Tribe. Just send me a DM, and I am usually good about responding to those unless they're spam. So don't send me spam. So yeah, do that, do the boot camp, and then think of that overall vision, that one vision that you can really hold on to and start tapping into that represents the life that you want to manifest. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next episode.